Today, I want to talk about being still, being still, and abundance. Initially, this podcast was going to be two separate ones, each with a different story, and I thought, actually, they both interconnect so deeply that I can't do two separate podcasts. It has to be one and the same. So here I am, sharing this story. And this story I was reminded of because I was reflecting on my year and thinking about all the highlights in my year. And one of them was this story. And the more I sat with it, the more I thought, wow, I've come a long way. And it's taken me a long time to celebrate myself and to be proud of myself. But this was a moment that I thought, I never would have done this before. And so I'll tell you what I mean. And there is a lesson in all of this, which is why I'm sharing it. But I want to it's important to take a moment to just be proud of yourself and honor yourself. Talk about yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. It's the intention with which you talk about yourself that matters most. Are you doing it to show off and to be condescending? Or are you doing it because you're deeply proud of your potential and you want to inspire others? Any action you take, think about the intention behind it, because it changes everything. The intention behind the action changes everything. Changes the way it's received. Changes the ripple effect it has in the world. So this story, I was at a grocery store in the UK. It's called, one of the grocery stores here is called Tesco. So I was at Tesco a few months ago now, during the summer, and I bought a bunch of stuff and I was waiting in line, and it was a Saturday, so the weekend, and it was super busy, super busy. So all the checkouts were really busy. It didn't really matter which one I stood at because the queues were long in all of them. So I just stood in one of them and I was on my phone just scrolling, and the lady I think there's, between me and this lady, there's like 6 people, something like that, waiting to be served. But this lady was being served at that time, and the lady at the checkout who was serving her had got to the point where she was ready to take payment, and there was something wrong with the card machine, and so the lady couldn't tap her card. That specific card wouldn't work on that card machine, and she'd forgotten her PIN. So she wasn't able to make the payment straight away. So she had a little bit of cash and she was unsure how to make the rest of the payment, and they were contemplating whether they should move to a different checkout. And so then the lady who was serving her went to call her manager, supervisor, to see if she could help with the situation. And so she comes along, and before she arrives, I'm watching all this unfold, and I feel intuitively drawn to go over and help. So I walked up and I said to the lady who was struggling to make the payment, I said, "Hey, let me take care of it for you." And she was like, "No, you can't do this. I can't accept that from you." And I said, "Think of it as a gift from me to you this weekend. I can tap my card because this specific card works on the card machine. It'll be fine." So I did it, and it went through immediately. And then the supervisor arrived, and the conversation between the two of them went back and forth, and she said, "Do you still need help?" And the lady said, "No, this lovely guy is just taking care of it." And the lady who I helped said, "I can't believe you just did that. That's amazing. Thank you so much. And I'll pay you back." And I said, "Don't worry about it. You don't have to." And so I went back into the queue, waited my turn. My turn came after a few minutes, and the lady comes back to me. She comes running back, and she said, "Oh, I just went to my car and I grabbed some more cash. Here you go." And I said, "Oh, thank you so much." So the reason I bring this up is this story is because for two reasons. One, when you're still and you practice stillness, the action that you take will be based on the impulse that arises within you from the purest of places, because there isn't chaos going on, there isn't a lot of noise going on inside of you. And so when you feel a desire coming up that you're drawn to, a spark of inspiration that you're drawn to, that's coming from the purest place. That's God working through you. And in that moment, I felt God was working through me to help this lady. And I could see no one else was stepping in to help. It was going back and forth for quite some time before I felt drawn to walking over and just helping to resolve it straight away. And so it just got me thinking that how many people are really tuned in? It's not everyone had to do what I did. I'm not saying everyone has to do that. What I'm saying is people see a problem that can be resolved, but oftentimes don't walk over to help. And that's because they're so wrapped up in their own stuff. They're not still enough to feel and see what's happening around them, to really feel how interconnected we all are, how deeply interconnected we all are, and that you and me are just the same in different costumes. So the confidence is a byproduct of the stillness. And when you build that relationship with the inner stillness, any action you take is God working through you. It's coming from the purest parts of you. Now, the second thing I want to say, which has another story to it as well, is this whole idea of blah, blah. Can't even say my words now. This whole idea of abundance. That there is always enough. That me giving to you doesn't take away from me. And I'm reminded of a short line that was written by the poet Anne Saxton. When you scoop from abundance, abundance remains. When you scoop from abundance, abundance remains. Because abundance is abundant. Abundance is abundant. It doesn't become less because you've taken from it. There's always enough there because that's the essence of it. And that's who we are. We are abundance. And so by me giving to this lady, I didn't think of it as I have less money now. It was almost like giving the money from my left hand to my right hand, from my left pocket to my right pocket. Both arms are separate, but don't be fooled, they're attached to the same body. So me and her look different. We're wearing different costumes, two different people, but we're attached to the same cosmic body. At the core, we are one. So I'm not losing out on anything. I was just sharing a solution to a problem that she had, and I just so happened to be in the position to help. To help pay for her groceries. I happen to have the right card. I happen to be in a place of stillness. I happen to be just at the right place at the right time to lend a helping hand. But it didn't take anything away from me. And before I would have thought twice about doing something like that because I would have been in this place of scarcity. I would have been in a place of, oh, I can't do that because it's going to take money away from me. I need to have like money in my savings. I need to, like, when's the next paycheck coming? And I got to pay for this. I got to pay for that. I can't give up that amount of money right now. There's always going to be things to pay for. There's always going to be situations that will bring you doubt if you let them. But when you're coming from a place of abundance, you never lose because there's nothing to lose or gain. It's just a sea, an ocean of resources, an ocean of energy, an ocean of opportunities, an ocean of experiences. When you take a scoop of water, a cup of water, a handful of water from the ocean, is the ocean drying up? You can do that as many times as you want. The ocean will never deplete. The ocean will never deplete because abundance is abundant. It's in the essence of it. So by me giving to it doesn't make it less for me. I'm just giving it from one hand to the other. Now the second story actually goes back to the beginning of this year. I was on a train on the subway in London, and I had this really cool water bottle with me that was gifted to me as a present for my birthday last year by a wonderful soul sister of mine. And it's a bamboo bottle that has the flower of life engraved on the inside, and I just love it. I take it everywhere with me. I always drink water from it at home or when I'm out and about. So I had this bottle with me at the time, and I hadn't drank much water from it, so it was quite full. And this homeless guy is on the train, and he walks over barefoot and slightly disheveled, and he says, "Do you have any money?" He was asking for money. And I said, "No, man, I'm sorry, I don't have any cash on me, but what I would like to offer you is if you would like some water. I don't have any food either, but I can give you water." And he said, "Yeah, I'd love some water." And I was like, "Here you go, man. Here's the bottle. You can drink from this." And my stop, just as I gave it to him, my stop arrived, and I said to him, just keep the bottle and keep refilling it and you'll be blessed. God bless you. And he started drinking the water and he smiled, and I walked off. And that was another moment that I thought, wow, I'm proud of myself, because I never would have been able to give up something so close to me before, because I would have thought, oh, less for me and more for them. Or more for me, less for them. Like, I need to hoard it. I need to keep it. I don't want to lose something so special. Why would I give it up? It's mine. Especially because they don't ship these particular bottles in the UK. They're only shipped in the US. And so by giving it away, the same feeling arose within me. I was like, I'm just giving it from my left hand to my right hand. I'm not really missing out on anything. And the funny thing is, when I went traveling a few months after that, I went to my friend's house in Philadelphia, and she'd set up a spare room for me, which was really nice of her. Laying on the bed for me as a welcome gift was another water bottle, exactly the same. And I said to her, oh, I'm so taken back by this. I really appreciate it. How much do I owe you? And she said, don't be silly. It's a gift from me to you. So by giving it away, you'll never be left with less, because you are enough. I gave the bottle away, I received one. I paid for that woman's groceries, and a few minutes later she came back to pay for mine. She gave me the cash. So you see, you're never left unprovided for. You are abundance. Just step into it, own that, shift your perspective, and be still. Learn to build a relationship with stillness, because then any desire that comes through you is not coming from a place of trauma. It's coming from the purest part of you. It's coming from God. It's coming from the universe. It's coming from your soul, which knows all things, because it came here prepared to live this life. I love you. I'm sending you blessings, and I'll speak to you again soon.